always talk about, celebrity relationships or just relationships from posts that are going viral. But this time, we're gonna really talk about you. Don't look behind you like, oh, see, yes, you right there. You point back at yourself as I'm pointing this way. Yeah, I'm talking about you, and we're gonna talk about it. Now the post says, "Would you date you?" Now, knee-jerk reaction. Everybody first hears that. Yes, yes, of course, I would date myself. But let's really break it down, because we live in a world now. It's like you have, standards and expectations that you have for your partner. But what about the expectation you have for yourself? You're always worried about what somebody else can bring to the table, or what they should be doing, or what they shouldn't be doing. But sometimes you gotta, not sometimes, I feel like for any, you know, conducive relationship that's going to be healthy, you gotta really think about, come back to you. Like I always talk about, it's a team sport, right? You and your significant other. You can't be expecting your significant other to be doing a certain thing, and you aren't even meeting her in the middle to actually do so, right? So before you worry about expectations of other people, you got to worry about expectations of yourself. Now, when you see that, when you answer that question, you really got to think. You know yourself better than anybody else, right? When you're dating with other females or other men or whatever the case may be, you're always putting your best foot forward. But in reality, you're aware that you're putting your best foot forward, and you're also aware of who you are as a person, right? You get in a relationship, you might have certain do's and don'ts, right? My man can't be short. My man can't be tall. My man can't be bald. My man got to be rich. My man got to be an athlete. There's a whole bunch of expectations you start off from beginning. But let's reel it all the way back, like I said, to yourself. Don't be somebody who you are asking something from somebody else but you can't even do yourself, right? If you want a professional athlete, wanting to make them this amount of money, if you aren't even an athlete yourself, I don't even think that's fair for you to be looking for somebody like that. That is something that should not be a deal breaker, right? Because how can you expect somebody to do something and you're not even capable of doing something? That's like if you want a man, you want to be in shape, you want to be in fit, you want him to go to the gym, you want him to work out, you want him to be healthy, but it's like you still eat McDonald's, you've been watching Netflix on the couch, you don't go to the gym, you don't do anything with any type of exerting energy at all. How is that fair for you to ask for that from somebody else when you don't do it yourself? You got to be realistic. A lot of times now with social media, literally it's so many people out there, right? And you have access to that just by easily picking up your phone. Like right now, I could be talking to somebody in Cali right now, and it's just that simple. It's not like it doesn't have to be too much connection. You just find these people, or they follow mutual, or whatever the case may be, right? But at the end of the day, whatever you're asking for your partner to have, you should be open to it, or you should already be doing it. Not only that, but what type of relationship do you want to be in, right? That's what it really breaks down to. Would you date you? Do you want a female who is always in the club? She's always going out on the weekends. She always got a bunch of male friends. Wherever she at, she's always around a bunch of male friends. Now, everybody's different, right? Some of you guys might be okay with that. Some of you not might be okay with that. But if a female is engaged in activities like that, if you're a man and you're a homebody, you probably aren't going to be too keen to date in somebody like that, right? Because like I talked about, if you want somebody who's going to be fit, who's in the gym, eat vegetables, eat all that good stuff, right? You got to be on the healthy tick too, right? Now, if you're someone who doesn't like to go out and doesn't like to drink anything like that, maybe it's not the best idea for you to be dealing with somebody who is doing that all the time. Not saying that you guys aren't going to be compatible, but maybe it's a situation where it may not necessarily work. We're always big on, what other people got to bring to the table. But like I said, you yourself has to be somebody who is actually putting forth effort. Don't look for somebody because that's something that you like. And now when you get in a relationship, obviously everybody's gonna have, their pros and cons, their strengths and their weaknesses. But if your main strength should be almost identical to their main strength, no matter if it's the work ethic, just building towards the future, being able to hustle, whatever the case may be, being a family man, all that stuff has to match up equally. Right? Right. But if you're just dealing with somebody and it's so many weaknesses that you gotta deal with from her, and you have those same weaknesses, that's not gonna be a good combination, right? So essentially, when you are thinking about would you date you gotta think about all the things I just mentioned, and another thing you have to think about: how do your days look? Not in your free time, but when you're actually no. Yeah, how do days look in general when you do have free time versus when you don't have free time? When you have that free time, are you looking to go out and do stuff and be productive, or are you working towards something, right? Are you making a YouTube channel? Are you working on something that constantly, daily, weekly needs attention to, right? If that's the case, you might not be the best partner to be dating, right? Unless you're dealing with somebody who's in that same boat for you. Like me personally, myself, I don't really go out that much. If I'm going out, I'm going to see family. I will pop out sometimes, but it's like I'm not somebody you're gonna see out every weekend. You're not gonna catch me downtown. You're not gonna catch me at the bar. If I pop up, it's special occasion. You know what I mean? But you guys know who've been watching the channel. Me working on the YouTube and the podcast stuff, it doesn't really give me that time to always go out and just have fun and for a bunch of hours and all that. Like I'm really working. Even when I'm at my other two jobs, like I'm working on this stuff, like I'm really working. So for me, to date, it's gotta be a situation where she's just as busy as I am. Because knowing myself, I know like I'm not a good candidate to be dating if I'm dealing with a female who always wants to go out. You want to do this during the week. You want to get, mimosas. You want to go to the after hour spot. You want to go to the bar. You want to go hiking. You want to do all this stuff. I'll be honest, I'm not the one for that. It's not the fact that I'm cheap. It's not the fact that I don't like just being outside, which I kind of don't like all the hiking and stuff. Like, like having the bugs and mosquitoes flying off. Like, I'd be kind of cool on all that stuff. Like, that's not my cup of tea. If I got some free time, the first thing in my head is not, man, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna deal with some nature. Nah, I'm cool. That's not what I'm thinking about doing, right? But a situation like that, I just know if I'm gonna deal with somebody, they're gonna understand like I'm really busy, and the time that I do get free time, I'm not like, it's not like an 8-hour day. We already hanging out for 8 to 10 hours a day. Like if you're cool, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, we could do something like that. But it's like, it's not gonna be a lot of time during the weekday. We're not gonna be hanging out. On the weekend, it's not gonna be that either, because between Monday and Saturday, and then I play football and then basketball on Sunday. So it's like my schedule is very tight. So me acknowledging that, when I see that question, would you date you? I'm just be honest. For me, myself, I'm an answer person. Y'all can kind of go however y'all want to lean which way. I can't date myself. I like right now, I can't. This is probably the most selfish I've been in my lifetime, and that's okay because my whole life I feel like I've been very selfless. I'm always looking out for other people. Putting myself last, putting other people first. Now I'm putting myself first, and when I put myself first, it's kind of like all that other stuff is obviously being pushed off to the side. So it is what it is. It's nothing selfish, but at the end of the day, you got to think about yourself sometimes.